Prime Minister Andrew Holness has told the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge that their visit is, quote, an opportunity for issues to be addressed, end quote, after they were met by protests on the island. Mr. Holness and his wife Juliet met Prince William and Kate at his office in Kingston earlier today. He said Jamaica was very happy to have the royals, but noted that the people are very expressive and they would have seen the spectrum of expression yesterday. The Duke and Duchess also visited the Shortwood Teachers College, the Spanish Town Hospital, and the Infantry Training Center in Flunkers, St. James. They are scheduled to conclude their visit of Jamaica tomorrow. Mello TV will continue to cover their visit with the recap at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow. Protests continue to follow Britain's Prince William and the Duchess of Cambridge on the couple's tour of the Caribbean, as scores of anti-colonialism protesters converged meters away from the British High Commission in opposition of their visit to the island yesterday at the Infantry Training Center in Flunkers, St. James, where the royals are visiting. There were also calls by protesters for an apology and reparation for the descendants of enslaved people as Jamaica mulls severing ties with the British monarchy almost 60 years after gaining independence.
My ancestors, their bones spoke to me. They rattled in their graves, and they said, like Bob Marley, that we must stand up for our rights. That's why I'm here, because if we don't live for the future generation, who will? It is time. It is time that we remove Queen Elizabeth's hands from around our necks so we can breathe. Her hands are gloved. Our necks are raw from what they've done to us.
Yes, I am here today to send my protest to the Crown to let them know that the indignity in which they have impacted upon us as a people over the years must stop. It must end. We are not going to come and welcome you to our country, which you have lied to, deceived over the years. So when you have murdered our ancestors, worked them for free for so many years, and then left us to wander like cattle in the wilderness. No, we are now at a stage, 60 years of the so-called independence. A 60-year-old man is an elderly man, a wise man. So we are going to send a message to them today that we are telling them they are persona non grata until they acknowledge the ills and wrongs that they have done to us as a people and be ready to make compensation to us as a people.
That resistance to the royals couple's visit, which forms part of a wider celebration of the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, has been playing out in the context of the role played by the monarchy during slavery. Vice President of the UNIA, Jawari Descendants, said that he was appalled by Jamaicans who have rolled out the red carpet to welcome the royal couple.
Royal person could be coming here with no concern, no remorse in their heart, nothing at all to say, I am sorry, or please forgive me, or see a school here, see a hospital here, see some reparations money here, nothing at all. I wish the whole of Jamaica would be here to protest, and we need to be here. Yes, of course, people are in their jobs and can't leave. I'm here to represent my ancestors. I'm here to represent all those who can be represented. I'm here to represent all those who died in slavery and got murdered because of white people's oppression. I'm here to represent my family in the future. When I'm dead and gone, there are Jamaicans going to be here and Africans going to be here who need to understand we have to maintain our dignity and our self-respect. We cannot continue to allow white people to dominate us, do all manner of evil to us, and we sit back and pretend that it's not happening. I've seen our Prime Minister, who I have lost respect for, go to England and get a Queen's Council Award at a time when Jamaica is supposed to be leaving out of this madness, this colonial domination. And at this time, I see my Prime Minister going to England to go and accept the Queen's Council Award. I can't tell you how disgusted and ashamed I was to see that man do that, you know? And that is the reason why I'm here today, to condemn those of us black people who refuse to stand up for our rights, who refuse to denounce European colonization, who refuse to come from under this shackle of slavery. I'm here to tell Jamaican people, get up off your butts and stand up and for your rights. Bob Marley taught us, Marcus Garvey taught us, and they better believe if Paul Bogle didn't get up and fight, we would not be here talking right now, all this nice talk on TV and all these things.
Meanwhile, over in Flankers, representatives from the Coral Gardens Benevolent Society asked that the message be sent to the royal family that they are also requesting reparation for the descendants of enslaved people.
Like everyone else, I think we all appreciate the fact that the prince is here so he could take the messages back to his grandmother to let her know how we feel about Jamaica, saying that we are independent, but we are not really independent because we're still having to talk with her about things that concerns Jamaica. So we now need for the Prime Minister of Jamaica to understand that if we still have to be answering to the Queen, we are not yet independent.
So today we are here to show solidarity with the United people, not just in Jamaica, but all over the world. And calling upon the government also to make sure that they demand, because we have a Jamaican Reparation Commission, we have a Caribbean Reparation or a CARICOM Reparation Commission, but it's as if these people have been given baskets to carry water. We don't hear anything coming out of the mouth of these people lately where the issue of reparation is concerned.
The descendants of the slaves who are here now today are demanding reparations.
I am here to make my presence felt, even if it's not my voice heard, but my presence felt, to give us strength to the movement that is going on. It's time in Jamaica that we end with the monarchy. You know, that's antiquated, that is outdated, that has taken us nowhere, and we need to spend time and effort and money on the development of our country and the development on the minds of our people, and to stop with this regressive education.
Detectives assigned to the Falmouth Criminal Investigations Branch on Tuesday charged a 16-year-old in connection with Monday's fatal stabbing of Kamal Hall, also 16, of the William Knibb High School in Trelawney. Hall, who was of Eastside Trelawney address, was the goalkeeper of the school's football team that competed in the recent Acosta Cup competition. He was reportedly wounded by one of his schoolmates after the pair got into a fight over a ring. Reports by the Falmouth police are that at about 11:30 a.m., Hall and another grade 10 student had an altercation allegedly that he stole a ring from one of his friends. The incident developed into a physical confrontation when the accused student reportedly used a knife to stab Hall in his back. The injured student was transported to the Falmouth Hospital by members of the school administration, where he was pronounced dead, while the student who committed the act was taken into custody by the police. Opposition spokesman on education and training, Dr. Angela Brown-Burke, has expressed concern about the high level of violence in schools, which he says has escalated since the return of face-to-face interactions. In recent weeks, videos of students involved in fights and violent activities in schools flooded social media. The most recent resulted in the death of a 16-year-old student at William Knibb High. The opposition spokesperson said while a lot of the focus has been placed on the learning loss suffered by children as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, the social and emotional loss suffered must also be taken into consideration. She called on the government to ensure that schools have access to an adequate number of counselors, psychologists, nurses, social workers, and other resources to ensure that the support needed by students is available. She also stated that rehabilitation of students into normal school activities is posing a challenge to teachers and school staff. She noted that what is required of the government is an analysis of the emerging data and a formulation of a response that is culturally appropriate to cauterize the violence. She stressed that an urgent response is needed, considering the level of family and community violence in society. Jamaica reported 12 new cases of COVID-19 and 3 fatalities on Tuesday, according to the latest statistics from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. This pushed the total number of cases of the virus since the start of the pandemic to 128,594, and the death toll to 2,872. The country also recorded 86 new recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 80,489 and 236 confirmed active cases on the island. Of the newly reported cases, there were 5 females and 7 males with ages ranging from 2 to 82 years. The cases were recorded in St. James 4, Kingston and St. Andrew 2, St. Catherine 2, Westmoreland 2, St. Anne 1, and St. Mary 1. Meanwhile, the latest deaths are 2 women, ages 68 and 79, and an 85-year-old man from Kingston and St. Andrew. The deaths were recorded in September 2021 as under investigation. More than 450,000 low-income and middle-income households consuming up to 200 kilowatt-hours of electricity per month will receive a 20% contribution towards their bill payments over the next 4 months under the government's proposed We Care Energy Copay program. This is expected to largely benefit persons earning smaller incomes, including vendors, security guards, housekeepers, household workers, bartenders, waiters, handymen, many occupations in the formal economy, and hard-working Jamaicans on minimum wage or just above. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, who made the announcement that the program is expected to cost approximately $2 billion, is being implemented as a temporary intervention to cushion the impact of higher electricity prices on the most vulnerable. These increases have been sparked by hikes in global oil prices, largely fueled by the conflict between Ukraine and Russia. He was delivering the closing presentation of the 2022-2023 budget debate in the House of Representatives yesterday. Dr. Clark also advised that prepaid JPS customers who pay in advance for small amounts of electricity at a time will receive bonus credit from the government representing 20% of the top-up sum purchased. The government of Jamaica will provide $25,000 in vouchers to operators of public passenger vehicles, including route taxi operators and contract carriage operators, to cushion the rising cost of fuel. This program will cost just under $600 million. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, made the announcement as he closed the 2022-2023 budget debate in the House of Representatives yesterday. The voucher program will begin towards the latter half of April and will be administered by the Transport Authority under the guidance of the Minister of Transport and Mining, Otley Shaw. In addition, the government will make available $200 million in revolving loan financing for public passenger vehicle operators, which will be available through microcredit and approved financial institutions by way of the Development Bank of Jamaica. 5 persons were arrested in Village Green, St. Anne following a pre-dawn operation in connection with the lottery scamming. 3 motor vehicles were also seized. Reports from the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Investigation Branch, CTOC, are that between the hours of 5 a.m. and 10:30 a.m., members of CTOC and the Lottery Scamming Task Force conducted a pre-dawn operation at a house in Green Village, St. Anne, with the execution of a search warrant. 2 females and 3 males were arrested. Several lottery scamming paraphernalias were seized, along with 3 motor vehicles suspected to be proceeds of crime. The names of those arrested are being withheld pending further investigation. And those are the stories making the news. We now take a break, and then Christopher Scott with the sports.